This is Tomo Fujita. This is Coffee Talk, Berkeley.
Hey, Tomo.
All right. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, everybody.
Great.
I'm Kim Perlak. I'm the chair of the guitar department, and welcome to another episode of Coffee Talk. As usual, we have Cheryl Bailey, assistant chair, with us.
Hello, everybody. And I actually do have my Berkeley mug this time, this episode.
Me too. Cheers, Cheryl.
Cheers.
I have a little different one, but that's okay.
We've got Ian Steed, our senior department coordinator. Hey, Ian. Good
Hey
morning.
all.
Hey, Ian.
Good. You
Also
got
have the mug. Yep.
All
We're good.
right.
And as our special guest today, we have Tomo Fujita, professor in the guitar department. Hey,
Thank
Tomo.
you.
Hey,
Hi.
Tomo.
How are you? Hey, everyone. Great.
Coffee cheers to you.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
This is great. So, one of the best things about going to the office, as Ian says in the beginning of each episode, is we have this pretty
Okay.
intense coffee maker, right? Like our office is kind of the coffee hang. And
Right.
what I miss a lot, I've noticed in the remote campus, is like Tomo, your office is right across from the guitar office. Room 418 is
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Tomo
Right.
lives.
Very
And
close. Yeah.
I always get to see you over
Yeah.
coffee.
Right. Right. Morning. Yeah, lunchtime. Yes, I know.
So this is really nice to get
Yeah.
to have
Right.
coffee with you. So Tomo, when you're at home, what do you put in your coffee? How do you take your
Just
coffee?
cream. No sugar. Just cream. Half and a half.
Nice.
But I really love half and a half. So whenever I go to the shopping, I tend to buy a little too much.
Mm.
I buy like this, like maybe four, five of them. So at least like a month.
Whoa. Okay. That's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, you always have it.
I always want to have a half and a half. So yeah, I buy tons.
That's great. What kind of coffee do you drink? Like what?
Coffee, actually, I buy online from Louisiana. Funny, from Louisiana, but this called coffee called Louisiana coffee, like really
Mm.
uh kind of dark, dark taste. But I buy 18 can or 20 can one, so that I have everything stock, just like a strings, a lot of Dadaria strings, a lot of coffee. That's what I'm all
What,
saying.
Tomo, is that a roaster, Louisiana, or it's the brand?
Brand
Oh,
Louisiana. I think I show you
okay,
next time. Yeah, yeah. It's
okay,
really
okay.
good coffee. Like
Yeah.
white can outside. I mean, now I have more like a package, like without the cans. Well,
Okay.
and then my wife Beth, she buys a little bit flavor coffee, like something hazelnut or something, vanilla like that. Then we mix just a little bit of that, and that's what we
Ooh.
like. Yeah.
Nice. That
Yeah.
sounds great. That sounds great. So one of the first questions we've always been asking people
Okay.
is that you have had a couple of different first days at Berkeley. You've been a student and you've
Yeah.
been a faculty member. So could you pick one of those first days and tell us about it? You could tell us about both as well, but like what was it
Well,
like for you on your first day of Berkeley?
Well, real first day is really when I arrived in Boston, and the next day, my roommate or I was just to stay with, brought me to Berkeley by car. And first thing I go into the 150 myself, going downstairs, I got lost right away. It's almost like what's going on? Like almost like really not able to find anywhere. Then ended up I go to laundry room or something really hot. That was the first day really. And then yeah, that's first day really. And I go around, I can see the ensemble. And so I have a really bad sense of direction. And being in a 150 myself, first thing I was finding a class was really difficult. And and I remember first class was arranging one by Brian Lewis.
Mhm.
And he's a very nice guy. He talk everything, detail. I have no idea what he's talking about because I didn't realize my English skill was really horrible. In other words, I can read, but my listening skill was like, wow, everybody talks so fast. And everybody has a Boston accent a little bit, right? So I was like, wow, what's that? Yeah, so like a language problem was my first like major problem at the Berkeley. I was like, wow, how can I overcome this? So that was hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I even missed the I even missed the midterm because I didn't know when it was a midterm. Yeah.
Wow. Tomo, can you find your way around the 150 building now? Because I still get lost in the
Yeah.
150
Seriously,
Now
building.
yeah.
now actually now they changed it a little bit.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know exactly. Yeah, I have to go around a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one thing is that nobody understands that when they first come. You may never know how to get through the
Yeah. I
150
mean,
building.
most building go straight up, go this way, that way, but that's like almost like every angle, like almost like a two different stairs, ensemble room especially.
Yeah.
How are you gonna find an ensemble room? How to explain to go to where?
Tomo, that was so brave of you to come from Japan to Berkeley. You were so excited, obviously.
Yeah,
How did
but
what made you
one,
want to come to Berkeley and just, I mean, that's such a commitment. I'm always admire international students that come, particularly if they're so excited and their English might be,
yeah, really
some
hard.
more.
Yes,
And I just think, wow, I don't know if I could do that myself. I'm not brave enough.
I see, I see. Well, I think music brought us all together at Berkeley, and that's kind of first passion. And then after that, any problem, just fine. Just so you have to just do it. So that's that kind of a attitude I had. But also, I want a lot of people to know that once I gave up my guitar, gave up playing, and a lot of people don't know, just because um I don't tell much about it. What happened was like just like everybody, teenager, play rock music and all that, and then you find that your favorite guitar player, being a band you play. So up till age 16, 17, I was just like, wow, I want to do this, da, 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 da. Then parents, teacher, everybody talking about college. And then I started hearing things like music is not so great choice to have your career just because no guarantee. And my mother said that too. Then I was talking to my teacher, and I didn't have enough like confidence about the playing. So I thought, okay, my idea was like this: I go to regular college, please my parents. Maybe 2 years I go to Berkeley, just 2 years to enjoy my American life, my dream. 2 years, and that was my dream. So basically, 17 to 18, 2 years, I didn't touch my guitar at all.
Wow.
I just did all about the studying, for college. So like really study. I study like almost like I get up every day. Summer, I get up 5 a.m. I study from 6 a.m. to noon, 6 hours, and then take a break, and then 2 p.m. to 6 or 7. So that's 12 hours a day. The
Wow.
reason is one of my teacher at high school, the guy says, if you study 6 hours up to noon, and then 6 hours afternoon, still have a free time. That's what he said. And this is funny. After the summer, I so excited. I talked to this guy. I did this, and he goes like, "Whoa, that was just expression. I didn't really meant to say. That's really reality." That's what he said. Okay,
Wow.
wow. But
So,
yeah,
what topics were you studying at that time?
English. Actually, studying English, like but the reading, reading.
Right.
Yeah. So the English, history, math. Yeah, because that's the one is really important. History, math, and English. That's I study. And then I went to like like kind of a school that to teach these like high level course. So, and I didn't study when I was a junior high school. I was really bad. But then high school, I had a really great teacher, really helpful. I had a little bit anxiety problem. Just always a little bit feel now really great. So this English teacher, very kind. He really understand my anxiety problem back in the 80s. People don't know that anxiety back then.
Mhm.
He really understood that. Then he just really put me aside. Don't worry, don't worry. I will help you. So he really helped me, like, then he encouraged me, says, if you study this, if you get this, you get scholarship. Oh, and I did that. And I got only two guy from the high school got scholarship. So I got second year, I got full scholarship from high school, you know.
Wow.
And then so this guy really helped me. So almost like gradually, I'm start gaining confidence in different direction, not the guitar, from different source, you know. So now I think that teacher helped me my confidence level, get out from anxiety attack, right? And then 2 years, I believe these teachers to study. So I went to college, and I don't know why I chose Russian to study at the college.
Whoa.
The reason is I really figured out how to make good money quickly. So back then, my research was telling me if I study Russian and if I do business, stock market and all that stuff, right? So Russian, and then that was good pay right away. So that was my goal: study Russian, get a great job. I play guitar all day. Oh, I mean all weekend. That was my
Mm.
idea. In reality, I study at the college Russian means 7 8 courses of Russian and everything written in English. So I was like, okay, understand English to understand Russian, then
Wow.
understand the Japanese. Man, that's a lot of work. And then, but I did, and I hate it. Then I put the band together, funk band, for my mind. I kept playing, and what happened was about a year at the college. I hated it, but just keep continuing. Then I found a person who just got the scholarship from Berkeley, a guy named Koichi Osamu. He's a bass player. And he went to really great school, Kyoto University. And I found him because of small town.
Mm.
And he hated me because I asked too much question. Because I go next to him. I heard that you got a scholarship, and I'm interested in Berkeley. He go like practicing, upright bass practicing. He didn't smile practicing, and I keep asking question. He gave up. He started telling me all the what he done, and then every step I follow. And about maybe 6 months later, he went to Berkeley. That was 82. I think 82, 83. And then this is funny too. I still ask a question in letter, sending the letter to Boston. Then he answered a question. But then I forgot to ask one more question. That takes about 2 weeks more. Like
Right.
that's so that's why, like, I tell people, people email me asking, did you get the email? Well, you have to wait 2 weeks. I mean, just kidding, because that's what I did. That's what I did. So you have to work on your patience.
Wow. So then from there, you had the courage to audition to Berkeley, or
Yes.
did
Then
you
then
have
yeah. So
difficulty convincing people to support that, or did you do it
I
quietly? How did
actually
you do
kind of secretly I start working on it. I didn't tell my
it?
parents. And then that time I start taking jazz guitar lesson, just because Berkeley it's a jazz school. I have to have a jazz. So
Mhm.
I kind of know a little bit about chord changes, but I still play kind of pentatonic or whatever the feel I play. I didn't know 2/5 line. I didn't know theory. So I found a guitar teacher named Takeshi Yamaguchi in Japan, Kyoto. So he teaches very very strict, like good way. So I took his group lesson, 4 lesson. Last week of a month, always say he said, don't bring a guitar. Then I had to write all the notes. He explained Dorian scale, flat three, flat six. Oh, wait a minute, what's that? Like degrees and all that. So first thing, I mean, I still remember first lesson. Come in. He plays. What is this? What? Like what? What degree? Oh, flat seven. Okay, like that. What is 13 maybe, I don't know. Okay, good. And I take you kind of deal, then after that, he taught interval, all the modes, everything. So here's the funny part is transcription. He teach me transcription, every detail, what strings, what finger, what picking. If I miss one class, 3 days later, I have a letter, music, all written, fingering, strings, picking, everything. Almost
Mm.
you can't miss once you in this program.
Right.
So he taught me how to play jazz guitar, and then a lot of story around it. But my karate teacher, I found out that he loves jazz guitar. He loves Bernie Kessel, Kenny Burrell. He's the one again, secretly helping me to do this, like get the teacher, get this idea. Then about 1 year, actually less than 1 year, I really worked hard, and I sent my demo tape. And at the same time, I study English too. I went to English school, and I made a friends, an English teacher. So then we become friends. So I didn't have to pay for the English. We kind of teach each other. And then I sent a demo tape to Berkeley, and I got a scholarship.
Mm.
And this is back in 84, 1984. I got a scholarship from Berkeley, 2,500, I think, from Berkeley. And then I forgot how many. Yeah, something like 2,500 from Berkeley. I'm sorry, 2,500, then 2,000 from something between Japanese and Japan and Berkeley, something like that. And I have a $200 John Abercrombie Jazz Guitar Award. This is kind of funny too. And I got the award. So John Abercrombie. I have no idea who is John Abercrombie back then. Yeah. But then I got a scholarship. And then back then, one semester was 2,000 or 1,700, 1,750, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, I can do it. And then scholarship was available within 2 years. So I decided 84 to 86, I work to get my living expenses.
Wow.
So once I got the scholarship, I said, I got scholarship, my mother, my father. Sorry, I quit.
Ah.
Yeah. Then they said, okay.
Wow. I mean, so you were studying at one point there Russian in college
Yes.
and other subjects.
Yes.
Then you were studying English separately to
Yes.
get ready to come
Yeah.
to the United States.
Yeah.
You were studying karate
Right.
and you were practicing jazz guitar and funk guitar and you had a
Yeah.
band.
Yeah.
So that's a tremendous work ethic for a young person. And then you
Yeah.
had your goal set up in public, you had one pursuit of an undergraduate degree. Then
Yes.
in secret, you had another pursuit of this audition. And then once you achieved that goal of getting the scholarship, then you had a plan for the finances.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
And so that's a tremendous work ethic that you developed.
I did. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how, do you think, obviously that is something that translates in every part of your life. And so
Yeah.
when you came to Berkeley and you were a music student, and then when you went into these parts of your career,
Yes.
this obviously is something you took with you and continue to develop, like that kind
Right.
of
Right.
work ethic.
Yeah. I always think I'm good at it. How to pacing my time, planning, planning. Yeah. Almost a planner. Yeah. But the reason is up till I was 13, I have no desire anything. I don't like sports. I don't really like any music yet. So I was just almost like almost like it's really funny to explain. Almost no desire and no direction. It's just almost a bubble. It's just kind of floating, not doing anything. And I didn't like myself about being that, because some people really enjoy sports, but I just don't like sports. So I just don't. I try to, basketball and baseball, but I'm not good at it with ball. So everybody in Japan does everything kind of one way, and then they respect it that way. If I don't do it, they kind of put kind of wrong spot.
Mhm.
I mean, actually, I had a little bit when I was elementary school. I had a little bit like a bully kind of thing. People didn't like me because I don't really fit in the group,
Right.
and I had a hard time with that.
Mm.
Yeah,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
then express myself music, and that's not really a good thing back in the early '80s, in especially elementary school, high school. Everybody wanted to do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was kind of hard time, But then once I found the guitar, I really like this.
Hmm.
I really like this. Almost like I just want to always go back to listen to records or playing. I still remember my mother said, "Hey, it's dinner. It's dinner. Wait. I have to get this West Montgomery solo, before I get to dinner. And after the dinner, eat really quick, to go back again, listen again, like that. It just every day is more like, it's a good expression. One of my high school student um, said it. Okay, what happened is I had one really great, friends at high school, and he plays the guitar as a hobby, but I was really getting into more, you know, into it. And then I got into, college with Russian, but then this, my friend, he didn't get in the college. So basically 1 year he, stayed just, studying to get to the place he wanted to be. So we always hang out on the weekend. And he said, you work like a soldier. That's what he always said. He just work like a soldier. Just do it. Just almost no. I mean, not the no feeling, but just almost no hesitate. You just do it. He always says, amazing that you can do that. And
Do you
I always
feel
say,
like you still do it, right?
I still do. Yeah. Yeah. And I calm down a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hand in hand with that,
Yeah.
what came up for me is you talked about a teacher that you had that was really compassionate with you.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I feel like the students know you in two ways. They know you for being just like a joyful, like constant practicer,
Mm-hmm.
like you're constantly inspiring them to keep practicing and you are always learning something new. And then I think they do know you also for showing them that kind of compassion. And
Mm.
one way in specific that I always remember is you have these picks
Oh
that you
yes.
give your students. Can you talk a little bit about the influence of that teacher and then about these picks?
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I have this. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Like I think we all like to teach excellent, teach, great part of a music life and everything. But then sometime before we learn, everybody has personality. So that personality is kind of getting away to not able to learn. So pushing, see, I push a lot myself, right? Go, And I did that a little bit with my students. And some students got really scared, because it's too much, too much passion, too much more. So I just decided to do like, figuring out this one. First thing, don't worry. Don't worry. Just don't worry. Just because first, if you worry, that's already is not good. So don't worry. And next one, once you know what to do, and this is what you do. You compare with other students, right? So I said, don't compare.
Mhm.
Just don't compare because it just my mother said, if you look up, if you look down, it's no end.
Mhm.
No, no need to have a discussion about who's better, who's bad, because you have to do what you need to do. And then if you do no work, then this is how smart people don't expect too fast. Because once you're smart and you work hard, you expect too much. So don't expect too hard, too much, too fast. And then always, I think this one important. Be kind to yourself because
Mhm.
I kind of hurt myself, push myself, because I always think I work many hours the next day, not enough. That's what I
Right.
always feel. And I think that's not good. I mean, for a while I was doing like that, but I think not good. So I said, it's all good.
I want to say for people who are listening to this and not watching it, what Tomo did was he wrote those reminders. They're actually printed on guitar picks
Yeah.
and they have his logo on them. And then there's these four reminders. And Tomo, if people want to have those reminders, they can get those from you.
Yeah, well, I mean, Pickboy sell these. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
great. And actually, like in this is one of the student. Can you see?
Yeah, it's a letter from a student, a handwritten
Yeah,
letter that's called Tomo's Advice.
yeah. This is you know, you see, these pick came from this paper actually.
Oh wow, because he's saying play with feeling, don't compare.
Yeah, and I
Be
always
kind to
said that, but
yourself.
I didn't realize I always said that to everybody. Do you know
Wow.
what I mean? So like
Yeah.
this one came from Owen, my one of my students, he's at the Berkeley now, and he said, "Happy birthday! Thank you for everything." And he gave me this one.
Wow.
Cool, right? Yeah. So
So
now
you
after that,
yeah.
yeah. Then after that, like I thought, okay, this is actually make a pick, and then people like kind of a you know great gift to something. Oops, sorry. Yeah, great gift to somebody who you care about. I thought that's kind of cool. Yeah.
I think that's cool that you learn that from your students. You learn something about your teaching from your student.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. That's great about the teaching is that teaching is not like I know everything and then I'm better than you. Just almost like we are equal, as a human. But then I kind of know a little bit more than my students, and the students know more than something I don't know. So we basically work together, and then be kind to each other. That's the key. Yeah. So that's
Mhm.
why yes, exactly what you say. I learn from my students, and then these came up from my student because that's what I say. But yeah.
So I think this is the perfect time. Ian has a question that he asks every time.
Okay.
And since you're talking about students and learning from them, when people learn from you, they may not know what to ask right away. And Ian, what comes up for
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. So, I mean, here's, a thing that I've been asking everybody, which
Yeah.
is what's something that, in your experience as both a student coming to Berkeley and as somebody who's taught so many students is
Yes.
what's the thing that students should begin to think about, or what's the question they should ask that they don't yet know to ask?
I see. I see. Yeah. Okay. I think everyone should have question written more like this is an opportunity. You can ask anything. You can ask literally anything besides the guitar, really, because that's a private lesson. You can ask anything. So sometime beginning of lesson, it's how's everything? Good. So what have you been doing? I ask sometime, and then do you have any question, any requests for today, anything? And sometimes I don't know. I don't think about it. And then I say, why not? This is lesson, you're looking forward to, right? Yeah. But then, you can participate more before, So it's hard because almost like even question you have to understand what can I ask or what to do. So yeah, so it's a good question. I have to ask them beforehand, do you have anything, yeah. So that's what I do usually, open up a little bit so that see, like some people very shy. Then if I go like this, how was the week? Good. Okay, do you have any question? No. Okay, so let me do this way. See, if I do that, I'm just pushing a little too much my opinion already to me. So I just want to have people, like room. Like if I talk, and I try to do this one when I do. I talk. I mean, right now it's like this I talk, but I talk and I wait almost the same amount. That's I think good for music because I play a little bit and somebody play a little bit, so we have call and response, and that's what I try to do in a lesson. So if
Yeah.
somebody talk, I just not say anything. Same thing. If somebody play, I just don't say anything. I just wait. Like if somebody jamming like this, I just wait. And then sometimes students go, "What? I didn't say anything. You're saying, so I'm just listening." Oh, I didn't know. Like that. And I say, what are you doing? I was just noodling around. Well, if it's a lesson, don't you think you have to think something to ask or something to do? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Like that. Kind of funny conversation.
So you're asking them basically to take some responsibility in the lesson, to
Yes,
learn, like to
yes. In other words,
prepare.
yeah, I definitely I have a responsibility to teach everything what I know, but they have to really ask me what they want to know, so that student basically gets things from me more than I know. Sometimes maybe
Mhm.
trigger to okay, think about something. Then I think, and that's great about, I think, one-on-one lesson, even virtually. I think because every week I and this this is a kind of secret, like my secret is um I have a notebook for so Berkeley lesson. After I teach 1 week, I always write 1 week each what topic was really good. I have.
Mhm.
So this way I can recycle that topic to a little bit more detail, so that I could have as a lesson, like a good one, you know,
Hmm.
something like that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so that really helping me. And then yeah, like exactly. I have to ask them participate, and then I have to make them responsibility, just like I used to do, you know,
Right.
always goal. Yeah.
Tomo, that I love all these things that you're talking about, and they're really really deep things in the way we connect with our students. And I think, as Kim said, like, they have this responsibility too. And I think maybe it's, I don't know, I can't speak about 20 years ago, but I think sometimes there's a thing with students come in and they think just being there is it. Like
Mm.
they've done it.
Mm-hmm.
That's and but when I try to explain to students that when you ask a question, well, especially in a class,
Mm-hmm.
probably there are 5 other people that have the same question, but they're too shy to ask. So you're
Yeah.
probably helping out a bunch of other people, but you're really helping yourself out.
Yeah. Yes.
But
Yeah.
you're also helping the teacher. And they don't
Mm-hmm.
realize that because, when a student starts to ask me a question, then I understand
Yes.
deeper what they need help with, and it
Right.
opens a doorway. So I always tell them that, like, you actually, when you're asking that question, there are all these levels
Mm-hmm.
that you're opening up for yourself. Obviously, like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to come all this way, like
Mm-hmm.
here were you coming all the way from Japan or wherever
Mm-hmm.
people come from. They come a long way to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't miss that opportunity. Like, here you can sit with Tomo, or you can sit with Kim Perlak, or you can sit with Ian Steed, or any of these
Yeah.
people and ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and so many times people think, oh yeah, again, now that will be a stupid question or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
you get them to realize, like, actually, yeah, it is your responsibility for yourself and for all of us.
Right.
It really helps all of us, helps
Mm-hmm.
me do my job better
That's right.
when that door's open, right?
Yeah. I think it's so, like, to me, private lessons especially, it's not so much how much knowledge I have or how much knowledge have to give it to each student. It's almost like I have to work with each one, deeper communication. That's my job. Then I I I ask each students to get into that direction. And yes, like you said, sometimes students really don't know how to ask a question, and that's totally fine. So I have to tell them sometime, just don't be hesitate, like ask anything, because sometime question is wrong, so that you just don't get the answer. For example,
The
typical
more you
question.
ask, you get better at asking.
Yeah,
Yeah, till,
exactly.
till you kind of refine it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, just like a play phrase, good phrase, but notes it too long, something like that. Then gradually you understand. So when the cut, duration a little shorter is better, or rhythm. Same thing that question. Most common question. So what are you thinking when you're playing? So that's a wrong question to me, because are you asking when I'm practicing or when I'm performing? But it's two different things. So if I play, I think about food, I think about something else, but then when I practice, I think every detail. And other questions people say, so should I think degree or domicile or, notes like that? Already you answer. Everything you say, you have to do everything like
Right.
that. So, okay, anything you think, good question, you do it.
Right.
Unless you get hurt. I don't think you get hurt. You know what I mean? If you do like this, like, then, I had, oh, don't do it. But I think, like, thinking about the nose, you know, it's
Right, because that question, they're almost asking you to get out of doing something, and you're telling them
that's
you
right.
are responsibility. You're responsible for all
Yeah,
of this information.
yeah, I think so. Just like, for example, like a good one, like, always, fan ask, so how was John Mayer?
Right.
Why do you need to ask how was John Mayer? You have to be better than him. You have to work hard on it. But these people kind of expect me to say, John was okay. He's just a regular guy.
Right.
He's lucky. Something like that. Oh,
Right.
I can be lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people know you because they know that you
Yeah.
taught John for
Hmm.
a while. You
Yeah.
taught John Mayer, and they also know you as a player.
Hmm.
Um, what are some of the things you think that you learned as a student that you always think about? That you know what I'm saying? Like, were there
Yeah.
things where you were a student and now that you're a teacher and a player?
Yeah.
These are the little moments of learning that you took with you and then maybe passed on to some of your students,
Yeah.
and you're
Okay.
watching them kind of take that forward.
Yeah. Like, each teacher teaches different things, like,
Mhm.
I studied with Bruce Arnold, when I'm a student. He taught me more modal stuff. And, but funny, Bruce Arnold, the reason is I wanted to study Charlie Baracus, but I called Charlie Baracus. They said you have to wait 2 years. I say, I'm not sure I can stay America for 2 years because maybe I run out of money, So, and I start asking people, somebody say, oh, study with, Bru- uh, Bruce, and, I study. This is funny. Okay, first lesson, play this one. He play chords, play this, da, da, da. Then he play blues. He go like, I think you need more blues. That's what he said. I say, I come here to study jazz. Not yet, he said. Why? Because you don't have a blues. And the first lesson, he asked me, transcribe Johnny Winter. I was like, I thought you were gonna ask me Miles Davis. No. Then I have to go buy the records. I transcribe every note I write down, memory lane or something like that. And I play exactly the same notes the first week. Okay, one more, Allman Brothers, slide guitar. You write everything. And I did that. And after that, he taught me, Charlie Barnaca says, oh, ear training, all that stuff, So that lesson taught me, well, sometimes I have to trust teacher about the judgment, you know. And the same thing, I studied with Mark French, and he's a funny guy. And, I like funky stuff like that. And I didn't read music well. So he said, Tomo, read this one, method book. Uh-huh. He just says something like this, read this one. Well, try this one. So he kind of encouraged me to read written music, now improvisation. So he really taught me written music, how to play really clean. And actually, I taught that to John Mayer to make clean up his technique. Yeah, so basically, I asked John to play method book for some pages, play really clean technique. That's we because that way we don't improvise anything, everything written. So if you play something else, it's wrong,
Mm.
and everything else is accuracy in articulation, muting technique. So that's I taught him play B. If you play open G, you have to touch B to mute it.
Mm.
Yeah, you don't have these things. If you have a lot of reverb and a distortion or overdrive, play Stevie Ray Vaughan. So I taught him clean up technique. That's the first thing I learned from other teacher. And
Right.
blues, you have to know, you can't just play Stevie Ray Vaughan. You have to understand history of. So like I taught BB King, I taught Charlie Christian. So I make John Mayer to play Rose Room note for note. He hated, but I made him to do it. So
Mhm.
that's we clean up a problem.
I bet he didn't hate it after he learned it. I find
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
he still hated it. Whoa, okay.
Maybe, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are some of the things that your students come back to you and say was valuable that they learned from you? And are you surprised by those things, or do you think, yeah, I knew you would think that was valuable later on?
Yeah, like little things like always people say, I didn't know how important about the triads. That's always here, triads. A triads or rhythm guitar, something about the picky about the bending skill like that, little things, then some people become professional, and then some situation they're very useful, like some people become like session player in the country. They try as everywhere, bending techniques everywhere. If you become a teacher, you can teach something very simple, then you can teach much more deeper, something like that. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
th-
So
I think that's interesting because fundamentals, I mean, in all the conversations we've had with everyone, it always
mhm.
comes back to these fundamentals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
triads are are part of every style of music, and it for when you start to understand advanced harmony, it's just stacking up triads.
Right.
You
That's
know?
right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just such a, and I know everyone here, we are always going back to those things, practicing. I always feel you can't know them well enough all the time. You know?
That's right. I still like, simple stuff to teach, Yeah. Yep. So that's, I think, simplicity is really, part of a sophistication, so anything people want to do, like, high technical stuff, but still, I like to kind of bring in, foundation like that, so, that's what I like to teach. Yeah. Even like how to use an amplifier. I always say little bit brighter, little less bass, no reverb, so you can hear everything. And that's actually a lot of people surprised. One of my
You actually
students,
got me. You did my level 7 jury. My level 7 jury was with you and John Baboyan, and I still have those notes actually. When
you
I
do
got this
all.
job, Julia found them and gave them
Okay,
to me.
what did I say?
And it was funny. I was working so hard on like, harmonic vocabulary and trying to play like upper structure and trying to be really
Mm-hmm.
clever in my playing.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, "Yeah, that's good. You need to practice more with an amplifier."
Did I tell you that? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, "Oh my god. I'm worrying about all this big stuff and I'm like I have this other basic piece of playing the electric guitar just like really weak." And you were
Mm.
just like, "Yeah, you need it's like." And you like sat with me actually and gave me a mini lesson after that jury.
Yeah.
And you were like,
Yeah.
"Think about this. Don't roll off any of your tone. Like play no
Okay.
reverb into the
Ah.
amplifier.
Yeah.
Don't play with a bunch of bass. Don't roll off your tone.
Mm-hmm.
Like be as naked as possible and get
Mm-hmm.
the best tone." And it was
Mm-hmm.
like,
Ha.
"Yeah, man, you just like
Yeah.
you just like speared me
I
right
see.
there about the tone." Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. I mean, especially like, tests like that or professions, I try not to teach because I love to teach. I used to I used to try to teach, and somebody said, "You told me you shouldn't teach." Okay, I shouldn't do it. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Then after that, I don't say anything. But sometimes I have to say just one thing. So I always say like this: after proficiency, I can tell the person doesn't use an amplifier. The only I ask is one thing. So do you practice amp? No. And then always people say, "How do you know?" Because that sounds like it, so that's only thing I ask, because amp is to me kind of a part of an electric guitar, really part of it, important, I mean, okay, this one you're gonna laugh now. I've been see, I do a lot of kind of hard project myself, right? This is called Stratocaster in a pickup, right? So now this is called front pickup, middle pickup, rear pickup. Most people use the front because it's nice and warm. Middle not popular because kind of bright. So since August, I put the tape here so I can go to the front. I only use the middle pickup, so very difficult to play. Tone all the way. So I practiced about 2 months, and then I came up with this.
For the folks at home listening,
That's
he's showing us a Stratocaster, an actual Stratocaster that only has a middle pickup.
Yeah. You're gonna laugh, right? Yeah, yeah. See, this is my philosophy. Limitation is a possibility. And this guitar, I play well. And then I'm very picky about the volume control and the tone control. Now I put the tape on. So,
Wow.
It's like the most extreme example of self-limitation on a
yeah, I love
guitar.
limitation. Yeah, because see, watch, see,
I do see.
yeah,
Wow. There's a whole collection of them.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
incredible.
So, yeah, but that, yeah, then,
That's incredible because, we've had other conversations with people about self-limitation in practice,
yeah,
right? Like in one episode, we talk about playing one note for six
yeah,
hours. Now we're talking about like engineering that right into your instrument. That's
yeah.
cool. Very
So
interesting.
this way, I really focus on my rhythm guitar because it's so bright, very bright. Attack is so. Also, this is actually, I noticed this is sounds better because no magnet field around us. So a little bit more sustain, and then less wiring, and a little bit better, a little bit more pure. That's all you can. This is all you can get.
Yeah. Wow. That's, Tomo, that's interesting because I mean, I totally agree with you on all of those things. And
Yeah.
it really makes you listen to yourself. And I think
Hmm.
there's a point where students
Yeah.
need to start to, yeah, like Ian was saying, like he was so caught up in all these other things, wasn't
Yeah.
really listening to the sound that he made. And it is another thing of being aware of all those levels. Like,
Hmm.
what are you thinking about?
Right.
I don't know. I'm just nothing when I'm playing, yeah. And those are all those layers of a development and as
Hmm.
you become a better player, but
Hmm.
you as a teacher directing students that way to be like,
Yes.
okay, yeah, we've got these other, yeah, of course you have to play in time, of course you have to play in tune, of course you have to know where that note is,
Yeah.
but
Many
you
many
also
people.
have to
Right.
listen to the sound, and that makes your technique better, right? When you
Yes.
start
Yes.
listening, you hear all,
Time.
oh, it's
Yeah.
so, and you hear all the scrapes and the buzzes,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that
I,
that's
I I think especially nowadays, like more equipment available and everything cheaper. So like amp built in a reverb pedals, many effect. Guitar has so many pickups, right? But more and more lately, myself really into really play acoustic guitar,
mm-hmm.
just because acoustic guitar it's difficult. It's no trick. It's just it.
That's right.
That's it.
That's
So like
right.
right now I have my mental hero is Tommy Emmanuel because he really makes the
Mhm.
guitar sing by himself and he really connect with the audience, and that's my mental hero. Now I want to play like him, just the guitar. I
It's
love guitar.
funny you say that because I just was about to ask you.
Yeah,
You and I have talked lately about using like the solo guitar,
yes,
like you're
yeah,
getting into being a soloist. And I was just
uh-huh,
about to ask you how these things apply. All of this philosophy and practice applies to like taking what you do
mm-hmm,
and turning it into a solo art. And it sounds
yeah,
like you're listening pretty deeply to Tommy
yeah,
Emmanuel, who is known for being a soloist in a lot
yeah,
of
but
ways.
also myself I kind of research about his past, so I could tell he's like more like, just my guessing. Just this is kind of briefly like kind of my guessing. He probably became like a great studio guy or session guy who can play anything.
Mm.
Then he wanted his own voice. That he start getting rid of situation so that he focus on guitar. See, some people think solo guitar. Oh yeah, because you can't have a band. That's why you play solo. No, 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 no. I can have a band, but just solo guitar is hard because you have to do everything, and limitation to me is kind of a, I have only one life, so I cannot do everything. So I just kind of think, I think Tommy figured out not to do the electric, not to do the band, and he figured out that's the way he wants to play solo guitar. I
Right.
think that's beautiful, yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
That's
So
really interesting.
yeah, that's why I have lately actually, this is kind of funny thing too. As you see, I have a lot of guitars because I like a lot of guitars and I like a lot of different tone. I want to learn everything, but mostly I practice this guitar.
Okay, so wait, so for people who are listening, how many guitars do you have behind you? How many are there? It looks like 20.
Behind,
Oh my
I
God.
counted here, right? I have a 28 guitars in this room.
Yeah, there's more. You moved your chair and I didn't realize there
Oh
was,
yeah.
you
So
know.
like
Yeah.
here, so here, right?
Oh wow, there's
Yeah.
a
So
lot
like
of guitars in there.
yeah. So this one, my wife, my wife built in this, also built in cabinet.
Oh,
This is
it's like,
wall. Yeah, because I teach all the time, so I have to have a different guitar to grab it. So I have 7 guitar here,
okay.
and then I have 18 guitars here.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But the funny part is, I have like so 28 guitars, but I play this most of the time.
And that's an acoustic. What kind of guitar is that?
This is orange wood.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, and then like this is funny, right? This this is a guitar behind. Is I work with a company. I become ambassador. Like I almost tell company what to make. So this is new guitar, and next year you're gonna surprise. Surprise. Yeah, so
Wow.
new guitar. Yeah, that's another job I'm doing. Kind of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
So anyway, acoustic guitar is really my passion now. Yeah.
Fantastic. Cool. Cheryl, what else is coming up for you as we kind of come through this pot of coffee? What do you think,
Yeah,
Cheryl?
no, I mean, Tomo, it was so great for you to share.
Oh, thanks so much for asking a lot. Fun
Yeah, I
question.
mean,
That's
just
great.
you
Yeah.
shared so many inspiring thoughts about connecting with students. And
Yeah, that's all communication. That's a thing. Guitar. I think to me, guitar really brings kind of people together and make us very pure and exchange all the opinion, ideas, and it's really fun. Yeah, that's all positive.
I've
Do you?
actually
Oh, go
got
ahead.
one question.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
No, I was hoping you would. I was about to ask. You have the look on your face. Ian has a look on his face
Okay.
when he has a question.
Yeah.
I
And
really
he
need
had
to
that
work
look.
on a poker face, don't I?
I like it. I like knowing. I feel like he's got something to say, man. Ian's
so-
got something to say.
Tomo, like you are like for anybody listening, if you've ever been on social media, you already know who Tomo is, right? So you've got such a strong base on like digital platforms. And I'm curious about like how, now that we're in this time, hopefully as temporary as it is, where everything's remote. I'm just curious about like music making in this sort of time. And like there's a lot of folks who are just like, kind of defeatist about all of it. And hearing your like just really strong work ethic around it and just like your passion for it and the fact that you don't, like, you're talking about playing solo guitar, you don't necessarily need anybody else to come in and play in a band with you for you to be making music and sharing it online. And I guess I'm just curious if you have anything to say for so many of these guitarists and students listening that now we're at home a lot of the time by ourselves, you know what I mean? And how it's not stopping you from making music.
Right. So like so idea is this, like I figured out kind of quickly, but about the internet. Like remember when we have a first, we can have a homepage, own homepage. That was exciting. Make our own homepage, and then I post some story or not like before the Instagram, just making homepage. So every time you have to add something, then you send out the email. But I didn't realize that's not really connecting everybody, only whoever you know. Nowadays, if you have a Instagram, YouTube, or social media, you can connect everybody. But somebody did this funky program that nobody knows what's going on, that if you just post, it doesn't do anything, literally. But if you do something special, continuously work hard to do that, then you become one of popular one. And then it's all free. You don't have to pay anybody. You can do that. But nobody know what to do. That's the kind of cool part. Nobody know what to do, but there's a possibility. Then that's unbelieving to doing it. So I have to tell you, first, like even Instagram, you can get the numbers, but difficult to get steady, So I have to figure out what to do. Then I have my own kind of a rhythm to do it. And then YouTube was really hard because if I play something really good band, you know, views 40 or 400 like that, nothing really go over the 1,000, and I didn't know how to do it. Then gradually I figured out a little bit more like entertainment purpose. So then gradually I created better one. Then end of last year I got 100,000, and that was like a really important 100,000. Then YouTube already kind of recognizing the numbers and activity. Then that point goes faster. So now I have 259,000. Every day I get 1,000. But if I don't do good job, go down. See, that's what I love about it. I have to do good job every time. That's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think people really like follow you and like you on social media and all that.
Oh,
Also, just because like your passion for the music and
Yeah.
your sort of need to do it
Yeah.
continues, even if it's just you at home, right? Like,
Right. But also I like to kind of encourage people to have fun with the guitar and people in general. So yeah, definitely social media is, I think, great to connect with people, then share something, have a fun. Even like did you know how to play this? So even like that,
okay, so for the people at home, Tomo was playing a makeshift guitar out of what appears to be a pie crusts cardboard box with.
Yeah, but this is a 2019 model. I like this one because see, if you put the P, you can play, scale around the letters. So that's why I thought this is kind of fun to play.
Okay, so you've actually really thought that through, and I think that's a good lesson to everyone. Like, think it through, people. You thought that through.
Well, I do a lot. I see that my hobby is always make funny joke for my family. If my family is always laughing, that's the best thing I ever have. So like if I make a pasta, I always put the pasta, like this. Then I go like, see, I do like this, and people, laughing, right? And then last year at a Thanksgiving, and then we were just ready to go to my other family's house, right? Then I start doing this one, and I was kind of a goof around like this, and Samantha was making video for funny. Mm-hmm. Then I go like, wait a minute. So like this one right here, minor third.
Right.
You can be bass player today.
Cheryl is delighted. I'm watching Cheryl's delighted face over there.
Yeah. But it's very difficult to play auto the phrase, this,
Yeah.
All right, Rose Room, here we go.
All right.
Yeah. See, I love simplicity. One string.
There you go.
It's the pie crust unitar.
Unitar, exactly.
I love that. Cheryl, any final thoughts before we finish this pot of coffee with Tomo?
No, but now I have a hankering now for some Pillsbury Doughboy products.
And the funny part, my wife bought 2 of them just in case this year.
Just in case you made one into.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to create a new song for
I do. That sounds great.
Always more job to do.
That's fantastic. That's great. Ian, what about you?
No, that was great. It's a great conversation.
But thanks so much for asking a lot of fun questions.
Yeah. Do you have anything, last word you want to say to everybody before we finish this pot up?
Yeah. Well, just like that, we don't know till we do it, right? Because people kind of sometimes believing, oh, Tomo's, he's a professor at Berkeley, he did great, everything great. I gave up my guitar 2 years.
Right.
Nobody know because there's no chance to talk about,
Mhm.
because when I talk about, usually I talk about kind of good things, and that's the kind of, kind of dark moment in my life. But
Mhm.
now I can talk about that because that was okay, because I learned something else. I learned to be patient, and then I did something I don't like. And so that was kind of a good thing to tell people. Some people say, I don't like. Too bad, but you have to do it. you know, because because I did. So sometimes I said to students, I don't like this one. Well, I I I did something I didn't like. Why not? Okay.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
great
So
advice.
anyway, so like this
Like that.
conversation always great because then bring up little question that leading to somewhere we never been before. So that was great. Yeah.
That's
Thank you
great.
so much. Also, Ian, that question was great. I didn't remember. I told you about the amp and electric guitar. Yeah, practice thing. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, Tomo, thank you so much for being on Coffee Talk, and
Thank you. Thank you.
coffee cheers to everyone. Thank you,
Yeah.
Cheryl. And
Thank
thank you,
you.
Ian.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all next time on the next
Yeah.
Coffee Talk.
Yes.
Cheers, Tomo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
See you. All right.